What is happening, people? Welcome back to Guna Down Under TV, and I'm sorry it has been a hot minute since I've last made a video. I completely fell off the face of the planet, could not manage my time, sort of just got a little bit bored of just repetitively making game reaction videos, and I'm going to try and do this a little bit differently. I want to make more content I enjoy, hopefully you enjoy a little bit more as well. Sort of like this, the hypotheticals, looking at stats, looking at different elements, not just reacting to Arsenal won this game 2-1, Arsenal won this game 2-0. Something a little bit more exciting. And hopefully, I can stay consistent. I'm going to try. Get on me if I don't. So today is all about Arsenal's transfer window. It's been real quiet so far. Some noise is starting to ramp up though. We know Calafiori's looking like he's coming in. We'll get into that later. Nuno Tavares is out. I haven't put him in any of the slides here because we're also looking at outgoings. But I just found out today, I already had the slides prepared, so whatever. Looks like he's going to Lazio, 1 year loan, obligation to buy at the end for about 6-7 mil. Personally, I'm glad he's gone. Like he didn't really fit the team, but I think we probably should have got more for him, right? He's still somewhat young, he's dynamic, he's quick, he's got some, raw ability there. I think, if it's a Liverpool, if it's a Chelsea, I reckon they're probably getting 12 to 20 million. I don't know. We just can't sell like that. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. That's not what we're here about. We're not talking about Nuno Tavares. We're talking about my perfect transfer window. Please, as much as it's my sort of window, let me know what you think. Let me know your thoughts. Who do you want to see? You're probably going to disagree with me. Who knows? Who knows? Let's just get into it. First up, we're going with Calafiori only because we know what's happening. I'm just going to stick with it. Obviously, just going to make myself bigger and smaller as needed. Looks good though, man. It looks good. I'm sort of glad we're bringing him in. I think defense, yes, we're sorted. We have a lot of really strong players to cover multiple positions, but we're always 1 or 2 injuries away from complete disaster again. And it's pretty likely, considering our injury record, we know a few of those people are going to get injured, and we'll get into that again. At the end, we'll do the depth chart with my team. We'll look at all of that. But Calafiori, man, he's young. He can play multiple positions really well. Yes, he looks like Maldini, of course. Of course, that helps a little bit. But 42 million for a defender who's, I would say, Gvardiol level. Solid as a rocket centre back, up and down, can go at left back. Sort of like a Ben White, sort of our Ben White-esque at left back, and also maybe slot into midfield. I know he's played in midfield quite a lot. I don't want to get into Calafiori too much because I feel like a lot of people have probably made videos about him. It's the most talked about transfer at the moment. But all I'm going to say, fantastic signing. I hope this gets done. Only concern is maybe his injury record. But if we're going to be rotating people a little bit more like I hope we do, hopefully he'll be fine. Looked like a gem in the Euros. Let's move on. We don't need to talk about Calafiori. We know it's coming in. They'll take our spending to 69 million because, of course, we bought in Raya as well for 27 million, confirmed it. It's not a juicy, good-looking signing. We all knew it was happening, but unfortunately, it does affect our payroll this time around. This is maybe where we're going to start getting some disagreements. So I think up until now, maybe some people don't want Calafiori, want that money for attackers, but I feel like most people are probably willing to accept it because we know it's about to happen. It looks like that way anyway. But I think this is probably where it's going to start getting a little bit crazy. I'm going Eze, man. I am going Eze. I rate this guy tremendously. A lot of you probably thinking, where does he play? He doesn't really fit in. He's only 26. I know that's a lot older than maybe some of the other players we go for, but for 60 million can cover multiple positions, and I think is a gem. Yes, we probably need maybe a forward more. I would understand if you argue that, but I think for 60 million, there's no way you're getting a better player than Eze. Someone who's so strong, can dribble with the ball, he's got skill, he's got technique, he can win duels, he can do everything, and he can give us so much, perfect control technician. Just that midfield would be a perfect balance. It would be an absolute perfect balance. He can play in that left 8 that Havertz wasn't really able to grab down, or can play as Odegaard replacements. Odegaard doesn't need to play every game. We have Fabio Vieira not pulling up any trees. Eze could be there, and that would be a fantastic midfield. He can play left wing when maybe Martinelli's not looking great. I think he would just be able to fit so many positions. And man, I rate Eze, dude. I rate Eze so highly. I think of the list today, this is the one I want the most. I think a midfield with him and Odegaard, Rice at the 6 against most teams would be great. Some teams, especially maybe Champions League, you maybe want a little bit more rigidity in that midfield. So maybe you go with 2 more 6s, but against most teams, 2 sort of proper 8-10s with Rice holding behind. It reminds me of when I think Man City were at their best, or most exciting to watch. You know, when they had, I was going to say Fabio Vieira, Bernardo Silva, Kevin De Bruyne in that midfield, or David Silva and De Bruyne. You know, 2 dynamic midfielders, one sitting in behind like Fernandinho, Rodri, and just let those front 5 play. Especially now if we're going to get Calafiori at left back, I think that's a bit of a steal. He can play, you know, that defense with Saliba, Gabriel, Calafiori, Ben White, Rice. Let the others play, man. Let the others go and play. I just want to show you some of Eze's stats. So this is Eze right here. This is Odegaard. This is per 90 because Odegaard played about 1,000 more minutes. Eze did have a little bit of injury issues. Also need to remember, one plays for Arsenal who has the ball most of the time. Other plays for Crystal Palace. So there is that we need to take into context. But even still, Eze, look at he's a goal scoring midfielder. He's someone else who will add goals. Yes, we want a striker. But I'm pretty confident that Eze's goal output could probably be close to any striker we sign at this point anyway. The market is not that good, man. It's maybe Oshme, who's still a gamble. You know, yes, the AFCON didn't look great. I don't want to look at one international tournament, but he's been on a bit of a dip for Napoli as well. Who knows? Maybe his confidence has been shot. It's going to be a lot of money as well. Only sort of fills 1 position, whereas Eze feels 3 really, really good. So you can see, goal scoring wise, clearly dominates Odegaard, who is a good goal scorer for a midfielder. So it just shows Eze's levels. In terms of passing, yes, Odegaard's maybe the better provider, but not by much. Not by much. Long ball accuracy, you can see Eze, much higher percentage. Yes, Crystal Palace are probably more of a counter-attacking team, so he'd get more chances. They would find that space more often than maybe an Odegaard. But having the ability for Eze on one side, Odegaard on the other, pinging long balls to Martinelli, Saka, Havertz, maybe someone else we bring in, who knows. I think that would be such a good combo, man. Such a good combo. Not only that, but looking at defensive work, we all think Odegaard puts in work, hard, you know, bigger work rate, everything like that. Eze is even better, man. Eze is even better. Now again, yes, Crystal Palace defend more, so they're more likely, you know, to have better defensive numbers. But still, look at the tackles won, 0.74 to 0.49 for Odegaard. Duels won, 7 duels a game, 3.6 to Odegaard. 48% for Eze though. So he's getting in a lot of duels and winning a bunch as well, which we know midfielders need. I think that's what Havertz was actually doing quite well at the number 8. Just wasn't able to produce enough attacking wise to be really any threat from that left centre mid or number 8 position. Eze can be that, man. Eze can be that. He can sort of win the duels, dribble, drive forward, all laid off with a long ball. He's got the whole package. Recoveries, 6.98. Look how many times he wins the ball in the final third as well. All higher than Odegaard. If we can win that ball higher up, you know, we don't need to worry about breaking teams down with a low block. On the front foot, bam, pick it off him, 1 pass, hopefully a goal. And then here as well, dribbles. Successful dribbles. Oh, this is why you need to look over your stats. Or your slides rather. Because this one up here is clearly still shooting. But I will say, you can look at in your own time, Eze has clearly higher dribble stats than Odegaard. My bad on that. But he just has the whole package, man. That's just what I want to say. That is what I want to say. I'm going Eze. So far, we've got our Raya. That's a lock. Calafiori looking like a lock. There's not much we can do, although I think it's a fantastic signing, and we'll get into that more when we get to the depth chart. Eze's next. What are we saying? We've still got some money to spend, hopefully. This is probably where people are going to disagree with me more. I'm going Onana, man. I know it's another midfielder. And that's a lot of money. It's about 110 million to be spending on your midfield. But I think what's available right now, where we can improve the most, I think Onana would take us there. Thomas Partey, on his day, I reckon is our best midfielder. We can't rely on it. We've had this conversation year after year after year. It's just not happening. It's just not happening. Jorginho, he's getting on in age. Yes, he's good. Yes, he's a great reader of the game, can do all of that. I just like a bit more athleticism in the midfield. Jorginho as well, year on year, at some point he's going to decline. How often can we rely on him? We bring in Onana. If that means selling Partey, I'm completely fine with that. And again, gives us so much flexibility in that midfield. We'll get into it. We'll get into it. But just stay with me. 50 million, can play CDM, can play centre mid, shined in the Euros a bit, maybe one of the only bright sparks for Belgium, I'll say. But he's big, he's 6'5" or so, athletic, can get up and down, wins duels like nothing, he's physical, and adds to this Arteta sort of big, strong, intimidating factor that we're trying to build. Our back four, Ben White, Saliba, Gabriel, Calafiori. You know what, all 6 foot plus, big guys, chuck in Onana with Rice there. Something in the Champions League, maybe where you don't want to be as susceptible to a counter-attack. A lot of other teams may be quick on the counter. Chuck in Onana next to Rice. I think that would be a perfect blend. 50 million, yes, it's expensive, but he's also young, can be our 6 for a real long time. Doesn't also have to play every game. I know 50 million for a rotation player is wild, but I want to have deep runs, man. I don't want to just worry about Premier League. We've got Champions League. I want to win an FA Cup. Carabao, honestly, I don't really care about too much, but a trophy's a trophy. I want to start winning. We need some proper depth, people that we can rely on. Partey is getting injured every single season. I'm sort of sick of that experiment. I understand you'll probably disagree with me, but I'm saying I think this would be the perfect balance. So we got Raya, we got Calafiori, we got Eze, Onana. Next up, this is where I'd be willing to maybe twist a little bit, but I'm going Pedro Neto, man. I am going Pedro Neto. This guy excites the absolute hell out of me. On his day, I think would probably start over Martinelli. Even give Saka a real run for his money. Only issues is injuries. I know I was talking about Partey's injury record, and that's the only thing I'd maybe be willing to give this one a miss. Nico Williams, love the look of him. I don't think we're getting him. I think he's probably going to stay at Bilbao, maybe Barcelona, pair up with Lamine Yamal. Neto, though, honestly, at this point, I'd say he's still even better than Nico Williams. In terms of end product, in terms of just being able to cause an absolute havoc to everyone. You saw what he did against Man City. Yes, it's only one game, but he is a constant threat. Can fill multiple positions as well. Can play him left wing instead of Martinelli. Can play him as right wing for Saka backup. He plays striker. I'm not the biggest fan of that. Maybe if we're playing a Champions League game with sort of winning the tie and we just need to sort of hold off, maybe look for a counter threat, we can put him up front. Besides that, I probably wouldn't play him at striker too often, but I'm not mad at it even if we do. Honestly, the technical ability, the pace, the acceleration, ability to beat a defender, Pedro Neto is him, man. Pedro Neto is him. I love Martinelli. I'm just saying, him as a starting left wing, if he's fit, Martinelli coming on 70, 80th minute, I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it. Again, if you're concerned about injury issues, that is the one thing. So there are other people we could maybe get. I would like a Kudus. I don't think we're getting him. He's probably a bit out of the price range. Unfortunately, Nico Williams doesn't look likely. We could maybe get a striker and allow Gabriel Jesus to sort of go right wing depth. But I think this would really pack a massive punch to our attack. Someone who can score goals from the wings, someone who can always cause havoc, give space to other players as well. I'm going Pedro Neto. Those are my sort of... So we've got Raya, Calafiori, Eze, Onana, Neto. Those are my sort of 5 main signings. 4 if you don't count Raya, because that's just boring, right? That's just boring. But I think we could maybe do a little bit of maneuvering here and there. Yusuf En-Nesyri, man. What are we saying about on loan? What are we saying about getting him on loan? Sorry, the photo's a little bit blurry. Sevilla maybe could look, into a 5 million loan fee with an obligation to buy. Something like that where it doesn't take our sort of spending too high? Maybe we do sort of a similar deal to David Raya, 3 million and then 20 next year. But he's a threat, man. He's a threat. He's not the goal scorer that we're looking for, but I don't think there's one available on the market that we are, to be honest. Striker market is pretty dead, dude. It's pretty dead. I don't like it, but he's a handful. You know, every time I watch this guy play, he gives the other centre backs problems non-stop. Sort of like Havertz in a way, I guess. Attacks the box, you know, he's good in the air. Saw him against Man City in the not Community Shield, Super Cup final. Don't know why that's one game that's popping into my head. But again, man, he was a threat the whole time, and I really, really am a fan. If we can grab a player like this, I don't know if Sevilla would be willing to do this deal. Just throwing it out there. But if they did, or something similar, you know, someone who can just come in, be a dependable backup option, give a different sort of threat. We have a lot of games to play. Havertz, Jesus, Trossard, I guess someone else sort of, you know, just give them competition. Again, not sure if it's going to happen. I would love it though. I would really, really like it. Now you're probably thinking 224 million. Let's say we have to pay him 6 million for a loan fee. That's 230 million. Are we really going to spend that much? Well, it's looking like we have quite a lot of outgoings. You know, there's starting to be real talk about Nketiah to Marseille, I believe. Don't know the price. Honestly, I think we probably should get more than 25 million for Nketiah. If we sold Balogun for what, 40, 50? I'd say Nketiah's up there, man. I'd say Nketiah is probably a better player than Balogun. You put him in Ligue 1, I reckon he's easily 20-goal league scorer. Put him in maybe Crystal Palace, Brentford, Brighton, I reckon he can get you 12 to 15. I rate him. I think he gets better every year. He's just not working out for him at Arsenal. You know, not quite good enough to really claim his spot. Backup, if you play him 10 minutes, he's not able to gain his rhythm. There's no point really bringing him on. He doesn't bring on anything differently. He's maybe too similar to our other players. You know, not a threat in the air, not someone who can just cause a havoc and sort of, I don't know why I'm thinking Scott McTominay, but that sort of ugly player who can just chuck on last minute, hope for a header, and that's it. But like I said, he's getting better year on year. Ability to sort of turn in tight spaces, things like that. I think he's learned that from Jesus. Again, not good enough, but I think if we can get 25 to 30 for him, ESR maybe 30 as well. I like him, but too injury prone. Nelson for 20. That's already down to net spend of 149. You know, you take off Kivior as well, who's likely to leave. What's that, 129, 122 maybe? I think this is a quite realistic window, to be honest. I think so. Who knows? Might absolutely crap on it. We'll see how we go. Back to the coffee shop. This is what we'd look like, man. This is what we'd look like. I don't mind Havertz at striker. I really don't, as long as we're grabbing a lot of goals around him, as long as we're controlling games. Havertz, Martinelli, Saka, front three, that's okay for me for now. Eze, Rice, Odegaard, midfield. I think that is where we take another level forward. You know, we're never able to get someone to take that number 8 position, make it their own, look dominant. Rice looked okay at times, looked okay, but I think for a whole 38-game season, multiple competitions, we need a little bit more sort of dynamism, creativity. Eze is him. Eze is him. I've been seeing some things saying he's linked to Tottenham, linked to Liverpool. We need to go and grab him up, man. We need to grab him up. He's unreal. Back four of White, Saliba, Gabriel, Calafiori. All dynamic, athletic, good defenders. Can sort of play multiple positions, maybe besides Gabriel. Saliba could move to the left. White could move to centre-back. Calafiori could move to centre-back. All tall, good in the air. White, Calafiori can get up and down. Both sort of invert as well. You know, we saw White inverting a little bit last season and looked good. It really looked good. Calafiori, I think, could do the same and also sort of maybe offer something slightly different, running down the flanks, crossing it in. I think this is a really, really good balanced team. Let's say we're playing Real Madrid in the Champions League, whatever. Maybe we need a little bit, a little bit different. We can move Rice to the 8. Bam, bring in Onana. Midfield of Onana, Rice, Odegaard. That's strong, that's solid. It's going to be tough to get past. You know, maybe let's say Calafiori is struggling with a little bit of an injury or just fatigued. We can bring in Timber, Tomiyasu. I think that defense still is a little bit light. I would like maybe a couple more players because we know, I haven't added Zinchenko, but we know Zinchenko, we know Tomiyasu is probably going to get injured at the same time at some point in the season. then what are we saying? We're going to have to rely on Timber, who's just coming off an injury, massive injury as well, to sort of really be the backbone of the backup options across all 4 positions. I would maybe like one more defender if we can grab one on loan. I don't know who, but I would just like a little bit more than that actually. It looks good like this. Everyone can cover multiple positions, but we just know a few of them have the tendency to get injured, and I don't like that. But midfield, like I said, Rice can play 6, Rice can play 8, Onana can play either. We also have Jorginho who can come in for a game. Eze can play left centre mid. Odegaard needs a rest. Bam, Eze can play cam. Martinelli needs a rest. You can put Eze there. Could bring on Neto there. Let's say Neto starts at left wing. Martinelli can play right wing. We saw a bit of that. I think this gives us the best ability to rotate as much as possible. Hope we get a full fit team for the whole season. Allow people to shine at different points. Havertz, Jesus can battle for that striker position. Maybe it's not working. Trossard has a go. Neto can maybe even have a go. I think it's going to give us quite a good balance. I can't wait to see what you say though. I can't wait to see what you guys have to say. Hopefully you agree. If not, it's just football. Let's talk about it. Let me know why. If you've made it this far, please make sure to like and subscribe. Like I said, I'm going to try and start making these videos more consistently. Some sort of different videos like this. Just have some fun, be chill, be talking. That's it. Please make sure to take care of yourself. I'll see you in that next one. Peace.